Oh, come on, George.
How can you see?
Hi, I'm Johanna, and this is George, and this is our blue chair story. George joined our family 9 years ago, and he's gonna lay down. He came from Idaho, and we got him on discount because he was the last puppy in the litter. But he was a scoundrel. So to try to combat some of that extra energy and puppy problems, we started taking him to obedience classes, and he loved them. And so we just kept working our way up and working our way up. Our instructor mentioned therapy dog work. And that was almost exactly 6 years ago. At home, he's a regular dog, but here he's like a superhero. I can't even put it into words, the expression on people's faces when they first see him. It's indescribable. George saunters in and people just glom to him. On a regular day, it will take us about 20 minutes from the time we enter the hospital until we get to the elevators, because no one expects to see this huge black Q-tip, walking towards them. He probably meets over 100, 150 people a shift, easily. One of the most common things that a staff member will say to me, especially a staff member who hasn't met George, is, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know he's here for the patients. I just need a hug." And I say, no, we are here for everyone. George's main purpose at Sanford, in his mind, is to get pet and to be told how handsome he is. And he takes that very seriously. I see our job as making someone stay better. And you don't know when you knock on that door what's happening on the other side. We are able to just morph into what that room and what that patient needs. And that is a true gift for us to be able to do that. There'll be times we'll walk into a room, and instead of walking to the patient, he'll walk to a family member. And he'll sit in front of that family member. And I let him pick who he's gonna go to. That's the person in the room who needed him more, or needed him first. So it's challenging, and it's hard to see people bent and scared. But I also get to leave with them having a smile. And that is the most rewarding thing. We had one oncology patient. We had known him for years, and they were gonna enter palliative care with him. So he called, and I think we saw him every day for 2 weeks. Halloween was coming up, and so I ordered a bunch of Halloween costumes, and I have him help me dress George up, and then we give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And then towards the end, when the patient was really comfortable and not as aware, we were just there for mom and dad, where George would crawl into the chair with them, basically. And this young man, when he did pass, I went to his funeral, or his visitation, which was in a small town. And we walked in, and everyone was like, "Is this George?" Because they had seen pictures. This whole town rallied around this family. So we came in, and the mom came running over and just got to the floor and wrapped her arms around George. And as it was time for us to go, I brought him back to the mom, and she hugged him one more time. And she said, "I'm just not ready to let him go." And I didn't know I wanted to fix it, but of course you can't fix it. So in that moment, without thinking about it, I took off George's badge, which has his bling on it, and I gave it to mom. And I said, "Here, you can take a piece of George with you." And she was crying, and she clipped it on her shirt, and she said, "This will go with him when the time is right." And then I emailed the volunteer office. I'm like, "Oh, gonna need another badge." And because it was what we could do in that moment. And it felt so good to be able to do that. It's taken years, but we have such a good rhythm together, and we are boosted so much by the staff. We have so much support. So even though it may just be George and I walking down the hallway, there really is everyone else you can't see behind the scenes here that's making it possible. We will be here anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on the shift and who we meet. And he goes home exhausted. Therapy dogs absorb the energy of the room. And so he will absorb some of the sadness or some of the grief or the happiness. Sometimes an encounter is so random but so meaningful. George can change the trajectory of someone's day. And I'm not trying to overstate that. And that's what keeps me coming back. Hospitals are scary. It's not a normal environment. But if you can bring something normal, like a dog, into an abnormal environment, it's a game changer. He can be the most positive distraction when people are hurting. He has about 3 inches of hair on the top of his head, and it's perfect for hands and fingers. And then he's got about 1 inch everywhere, this soft, woolly fluff. And people just melt into him. His coat absorbs so many tears. He knows that he's a big deal. He just knows that he is. George is the star of the show, and that's exactly how it should be.